So we're just waiting for our first race of this afternoon to get onto the start line, and whilst we do, just another call out for anybody that may want to volunteer and see what goes on behind the scenes. In particular, we are looking for people to hold the boats on that start line. We need some for later on this afternoon and definitely for tomorrow. So if anybody's interested in having a go at holding onto the boats and seeing what it's like at the start line, we'd love to hear from you. Please have a chat with your state team manager or come into the finish tower and ask to speak with Laura White. Lovely view there on the big screen of the start pontoons. So they roll in and out depending on the length of the boat. And you lie down and hold on to the boat in your particular lane and then get to see how the athletes do the start of their races, keep themselves in the middle of the lane on the way down towards the finish, and get a great view of racing. So race number 194 is where we are at now, 1:30 p.m. on day 3 of the 2025 Sprint Canoe Championships. If this is a semi-final in the men's 16 and under K1, racing over 1,000 metres, and the first 3 will progress directly through to the A final. The next 3 will go to the B final, and we will take the next fastest to the B final as well. In this race, in lane 1, we have Finn Ireland, who represents Mackay. In lane 2, we'll have Ethan Yang, who represents Fairfield, where he is coached by Jade Kerber. In lane 3, Noah Kelland from Bayswater. In lane 4, Taj Purcell from Sunshine Coast. In lane 5, Alistair Marsden of Swan, who is coached by Demi O'Brien. In lane 6, Hayden Lano from Wynnum Redlands, who is coached by Matthew Ingerman. In lane 7, Dane Rayward from Currumbin Creek. In lane 8, Lachlan Matthews, and in lane 9, Dean Parsons. They are from Sydney Northern Beaches, where they are coached by Christine Duff.
So away and racing in the men's 16 and under K1 1000. Alistair Marsden there from Swan getting off to a good start, as did Taj Purcell and Dane Rayward. Hayden Lano as well. Fit on across in lane 1 from Mackay. Yang from Fairfield there in 2. Kellen from Bayswater in 3. Purcell from Sunshine Coast in 4. Marsden, as we mentioned, that good start from Swan in 5. Lano from Winnan Redlands in 6. Rayward from Currumbin Creek in 7. Matthews from Sydney Northern Beaches in 8, and his teammate Dean Parsons next to him there in lane 9. It is semi-final number 1 of the men's 16 and under K1 1000. 1 to 3 straight into the A final. And Alistair Marsden settling in for the long haul over 1,000 metres. Dane Rayward as well, positioning himself well in these early stages. Noah Kelland and Finn Island trying to stay with the lead pack, or the lead paddlers I should say. Lockie Matthews as well, getting himself away. Rayward though looking strong, as does Marsden. Taj Purcell staying in touch with Alistair Marsden in the lane next to him. So as they make their way down, and it is Marsden by a couple of boat lengths over second and third. So Marsden in the lead, just over Dane Rayward in second place. Looks like Purcell might be in third. So it's Daniel Marsden, Alistair Marsden I should say, from Swan. In the lead, Dane Rayward pushing him all the way. 1 to 3 straight through to the A final. Taj Purcell hang on to that third place. Then Noah Kelland and Hayden Lano battling it out for third place, or fourth place I should say. So a bit of work for those two paddlers to try and do to get themselves into this A final at the moment. It is Marsden in the lead. Rayward has got himself up into second place, just ahead of Purcell. Those three, they will be fine. They will make their way into this A final in the first three. Noah Kelland probably just ahead of Hayden Lano. But it's going to be a convincing win for Alistair Marsden from the Swan Club. So Marsden books himself a spot in the A final of the men's 16 and under K1 1000. Taj Purcell does the same, as does Dane Rayward. They are your first three finishers in this semi-final. And the first through to the B final will be Noah Kelland from Bayswater. He'll be joined by Hayden Lano from Winnan Redlands. Also Finn Island there from Mackay. Ethan Yang will be next across the line, just ahead of Lockie Matthews there from Sydney Northern Beaches. And Dean Parsons will complete semi-final number 1 of the men's 16 and under K1 1000. The top three straight through to the A final.
And as our final paddler from the first semi-final crosses the line, our second semi-final is underway. In the second semi-final, we have Zach Moffat of Manly Warringah in lane 1, Finlay McLennan of Sydney Northern Beaches in lane 2, Bo Jacob of Canning River in lane 3, Alexander Small of Swan in lane 4, Asa Poland of Currambin Creek in 5, Cooper Alt of Fairfield in 6, Brody Frew from Avoca in lane 7, Dingji Zhang of Manly Warringah in 8, and Taj Williams of Hunter Valley in 9.
And it looked like it was Cooper Alt from Fairfield and Asa Poland from Currambin Creek, the best out of the blocks to start semi-final number 2 of the men's 16 and under K1 1000 event here at the 2025 Sprint Canoe Championship of Australia. And it is Cooper Alt taking an early lead just ahead of Poland. Alexander Small staying with them. Jacob, McLennan and Moffat trying to stay with the pace that has been set by these early leaders. Cooper Alt and Asa Poland and also Alexander Small seem to be the ones setting the very early pace in the early stages of this 1,000 metre race. Brody Frew starting to narrow that gap between himself and Cooper Alt. So as we see them crossing that line, the halfway point of this race, looks like Bo Jacob may have had a surge, but it's Alexander Small, I think, might be the one in the lead. He's timed his race to perfection at this stage. Alexander Small starting to position himself at the front of this field. Once again, the first 3 will be through to that final. Alexander Small just starting to nudge in front. Cooper Alt in second place. Brody Frew working his way up into third. So it's Alexander Small and Cooper Alt are 1-2 at the moment. So Brody Frew and Poland battling it out for that third place to get themselves into this A final. The sprint is now on. No time to hold back for these young men in the men's 16 and under K1 1000 semi-final number 2. Top 3 through to the final. And it is Alexander Small in the lead. Asa Poland, he's chasing hard. Cooper Alt as well. That'll be your top 3. Alexander Small will take it out. Asa Poland is fought back well after sort of lowering off the pace midway through that race. He's timed it well. So it'll be Small in first, Poland in second. Cooper Alt, after a blistering start, he'll hang on for third. Brody Frew will cross the line just ahead of Finlay McLennan for fourth and fifth. They'll progress through to the B final. So 4 to 7 through to the B final. Well, it's Bo Jacob. May grab himself a spot in that. The next fastest times as well will be getting themselves a spot in that B final. But no doubt about the front 3 as Zach Moffat makes his way across the line just ahead of Taj Williams from the Hunter Valley. And Dingji Zhang will complete the field, the Manly Warringah paddler. That was semi-final number 2 of the men's 16 and under K1 1000.
So in the second semi-final of the men's 16 and under K1, a win there for Alexander Small of Swan. He'll go straight through to the A final along with second placed Asa Poland from Currumbin Creek and Cooper Alt from Fairfield. We now move to the women's 16 and under K1, still racing over 1,000 metres, and we have semi-finals here, 3 of them, so the first 3 will progress through to the A final, and the next 3 will progress through to a B final. In the first semi-final we have Layla Moody of Gold Coast in lane 1, Abby Osborne of Fairfield in lane 2, Sky Todd of Mackay in lane 3, Asta Micken of Westlakes in lane 4, Hayley Dunbar of Manly Warringah in lane 5, Heidi Smith of Sunshine Coast in lane 6, Camilla Barbie of Swan in lane 7, Yushin Yang of Fairfield in lane 8, and Kiara Quigley of Currumbin Creek in lane 9.
And it looks like the paddlers Camilla Barbie from Swan, Heidi Smith from Sunshine Coast, and Hayley Dunbar from Manly Warringah setting an early pace in this race. Asta Micken as well from Westlakes, right up there in these early stages. Abby Osborne as well from Fairfield in that pink ski, and Layla Moody in the high vis boat from the Gold Coast there in lane 1. But it looks like it's between Dunbar and Micken at this stage. Micken just slightly ahead as they pass through 500 metres. So it's Asta Micken from Westlakes in the lead, just ahead of Hayley Dunbar from Manly Warringah. And in the chase pack, once again, it's 1 to 3 heading through to the A final. Micken and Dunbar comfortable in that first and second place at the moment. Micken definitely comfortable. She's probably about 2 boat lengths now ahead of Dunbar. And once again, all interest will be in that third position. Moody now in lane 1 trying to make a move on Abby Osborne, who's just ahead of her. And then looking across the field, Heidi Smith giving herself a chance, as is Camilla Barbie. And Yuxin Yang. Kira Quigley also trying to keep herself in the mix for that third place. At this stage, it looks like it's going to be between Osborne, Smith, Barbie, and also Yang for that third place and that spot in the A final. Micken still hanging on to the lead, being chased by Hayley Dunbar in that yellow ski from Manly Warringah. They'll go 1-2, but all eyes on 3. Abby Osborne working hard, Heidi Smith and Camilla Barbie chasing hard, but I think it's going to be between Osborne and Smith for the third place. Yang and Barbie now digging deep, slowly closing the gap. Have they left it too late? Barbie working hard, Yang trying to stay with her. So it's going to, no worries about the line honours. So Micken's going to take line honours. A fast finishing Hayley Dunbar will be second, but all eyes on Osborne and also Smith for the final finish. A fast finishing Barbie, it'll be too late for her, and I think it may have been Heidi Smith just getting the honours and picking up that spot in the A final. Very tight between Smith and Osborne for position number 3 in that spot in the A final, but no doubt about the winner. Astor Micken from West Lakes just ahead of Hayley Dunbar, and we think it may be Smith picking up that final spot in that A final.
Now some great racing there in our first of 3 semi-finals in the women's 16 and under K1. The second semi-final is now in progress with Summer Rose Partridge of Sydney Northern Beaches paddling in lane 1, Mia Wall of Fairfield in lane 2, Maya Murphy of Fairfield in lane 3. Emma Corrin of Cobram Baruga is in lane 4, Ella Pegram of Avoca in lane 5. Chloe Harris of Manly Warringah is in lane 6, Liv Manser of Avoca is in lane 7, Hannah Truscott of Wynnum Redlands is in lane 8, and Maya Jellica from Manly Warringah is in lane 9.
So Mia Wall getting away very well, as did Emma Corrin and Ella Pegram. Chloe Harris as well, off to a good start. Hannah Truscott as well, and Manser. So this is semi-final number 2, the women's 16 and under K1 1000. First 3 through to the final. And it looks like Chloe Harris, Ella Pegram and Mia Wall, it might be setting an early pace at this stage. Maya Murphy as well, right up amongst it. So it looks like Maya Murphy, as they approach the 500 metre mark. In fact, it might be Emma Corrin, just about a boat length in the lead. So a nice start by Corrin. Maya Murphy still there, as is Harris and Pegram. So plenty of racing still to come in this women's second semi-final in the 16 and under K1 1000. Ella Pegram starting to make her move. Emma Corrin, though, still looking very strong. Liv Manser also closing the gap. Chloe Harris still right in amongst it. Pegram, as we've mentioned. Emma Corrin looking good. Maya Murphy as well. So the top 3 through. Looks like it's going to be between Murphy and Pegram for line honours. And Manser pushing hard as well. Ella Pegram from Avoca in the lead, finishing strongly. Murphy trying to hang on. Corrin just slowly dropping off the pace. It's been a quick one. So with 75 metres to go, the top 3 through to the final. Ella Pegram from Avoca, she'll take it out. Chloe Harris working hard. She needs to try and get herself into third. She's pushing hard to try and track down Liv Manser. Manser trying to hang on. Harris finishing strongly. Pegram, Ella Pegram it will be. She will take it out. The battle for the minors, though. Maya Murphy, she'll pick up second. Liv Manser will take third, just ahead of Harris. Harris just not able to pin back Manser. In fact, Manser might actually take second. So nice strong finish there from Liv Manser from Avoca. So Avoca going 1-2 in this second semi-final. Ella Pegram in first place, Liv Manser there in second. Maya Murphy from Fairfield in third. And unfortunately for Chloe Harris, just missing out. She'll go through to that B final, top three through to the A final. Some good racing. Mia Wall was there as well. Summer Rose Partridge and Maya Jalaka just completing the field.
That's our second semi-final of the women's 16 and under K1 1000, with the win going to Ella Pegram of Avoca, coached by Jared Waite. Second was Liv Manser from Avoca, and third looked like it was Maya Murphy from Fairfield. So those three progressed directly through to the A final, and the next three to the B final. Those finals are at 10 to 9 tomorrow morning. So the third and final semi-final is now in progress, with Gold Coast paddler Taylor Smith-Miller in lane 1, Blythe Osborne of Fairfield in lane 2, Emma Jarvis of Bayswater in lane 3, Bronte Kippax of Avoca in lane 4. In 5, Ashley Pegram of Avoca. In 6, Ellie Neervort of Swan. In lane 7 from Fairfield, Hu Wen Chan. In 8 from Fairfield, Isabella Wallace, and in 9 also Fairfield, Jessie Yu.
So Bronte Kippax getting away very early and very well in semi-final number 3 for the women's 16 and under K1 1000. Kippax getting away just ahead of Jarvis there in lane 3. Those two are already starting to put some distance on the rest of this field.
Yeah,
Kippax
in
and Jarvis.
the heats, that Bronte, you may recall, she won by 10 seconds in quite a fast time of 4:47. Everybody else was 4:50 something. So she's already shown a clean pair of heels today. It looks like she's going to do it all over again.
Yeah, so Kippax and Jarvis setting the early pace. Ashley Pegram just on the shoulder of Kippax. We just saw her sister take out heat number 2, or semi-final, tremi-final number 2. And as we approach that 500 metres, so it is Kippax in the lead. She had a wonderful heat. Kippax just ahead of Pegram. I think it might have been Neervort as well. Jarvis still in the mix. But as these young athletes approach the second half of this 1,000 metre race, Bronte Kippax, it is just ahead of Ashley Pegram, and then Ellie Neervort from the Swan Club. Emma Jarvis from Bayswater as well, keeping herself in the mix, needing to finish in the top 3 to make their way into the A final. So plenty to paddle for these young ladies. Kippax continuing to hang on to that lead there, just ahead of Pegram. Probably just over a couple of boat lengths it is, in fact, for Kippax. Looking very strong as Jarvis now starts to lift her intensity and her pace up. May have got herself up into 3rd place. So it's going to be Kippax will hit the 200 metres in front. In fact, it was the angle. So Neervort, I think, still will be hanging on to 3rd. So as they go through, so Kippax in 1st place, Ashley Pegram there in 2nd, Ellie Neervort from Swan in 3rd. Emma Jarvis from Bayswater about a boat length behind 3rd place. So she's in 4th, needs to try and hunt down Ellie Neervort to get herself a spot in that A final. They will progress to the B final, but it's going to be Kippax. Interesting to see her time, Lizzie, and compare it to her heat. But once again, she's done it pretty comfortably, not really being challenged in the final stages of semi-final number 3. Bronte Kippax from the Avoca Club. She will take out semi-final number 3, ahead of Ashley Pegram, her Evoca teammate, and then Ellie Neervort. Looks like she'll just hang on to third. Emma Jarvis giving it everything she's got, but just not quite able to pin down a fellow West Australian. So it'll be Kipax in first, Pegram in second, Neervort in third. They are your A finalists from this heat. Emma Jarvis crossing the line in fourth place. Hu Wai Chen there from Fairfield will cross in fifth. She'll go into the B final. And then the final spots from this B final are about to be decided. Once again, it's going to be tight. Taylor Smith-Miller, she'll cross the line just ahead of Isabella Wallace. So Smith-Miller will get herself a spot in that B final. Blythe Osborne now from Fairfield just crossing the line, and Jessie Yu from Fairfield to complete the field. So great racing. The third and final semi-final of the women's 16 and under K1 1000.
And just out of the starting blocks, our next semi-final, this time in the men's 14 and under K1. These athletes had raced earlier in the heat. They now race one semi-final to determine who the remainder of the finalists will be. So the top 3 will go through to the final, will join the others who have already qualified, but the rest will be eliminated. So in lane 1 we have Ben Applewhite from Sydney Northern Beaches, coached by Christine Duff. In lane 2, Hugo Deng from Fairfield, and in lane 3, Tyson Busink from Fairfield. In lane 4 from Currumbin Creek, Koa Brody, coached by Chris Hurley. In lane 5, Jason Ness from West Lakes. In lane 6, Killian Quigley from Currumbin Creek. In lane 7, Behdad Samandarian from Sydney Northern Beaches. And in lane 8 from Illawarra, Taj Caldwell.
And Caldwell giving himself a good start from lane 8. As does Killian Quigley there from Currumbin Creek in 6. Next to him, Jason Ness, getting towards that pointy end of this field, as is Koa Brody there from Currumbin Creek in lane 4. Perfect conditions, glassed off this afternoon, very warm, 33 degrees for these young men. Koa Brody from Currumbin Creek starting to get his nose just in front of Jason Ness. So it looks like Koa Brody will lead this field as they make their way down towards that 500 metre marker. Koa Brody just ahead of Jason Ness, with Currumbin Creek's Killian Quigley sitting in third at the moment, but it is Koa Brody as we wait for them to hit those markers. Not much separating these two, Brody and Ness, but it will be Brody by about a half a boat length over Ness. And it looks like Taj Caldwell's continued his good start in that yellow boat I should say, just ahead of Quigley. So it's Brody in first place from Currumbin Creek, Jason Ness from West Lakes in second. Taj Caldwell, after his great start from Illawarra, he's got himself up into third, and Killian Quigley from Currumbin Creek in 4. The top 3 to go through to the final. So the pressure starts to build as these paddlers make their way into the second half of this race. Koa Brody out in front, leading from Jason Ness. Caldwell trying to hang on to third, being chased hard by Killian Quigley. Ben Applewhite, Hugo Deng, Busink, a little bit of work for those paddlers to do to get themselves up into that A final. Behdad Samandarian in a similar situation. They might run out of time to press for a spot in this final. But it's going to be Brody as they make their way towards the 200 metre. So Brody just ahead of Ness, as it has been for most of this race. So with just over 200 to go, Brody in the lead. From lane 4 from Currumbin Creek, Jason Ness from Westlake about a boat length behind him. Taj Caldwell about 2 further back, and then Killian Quigley will desperately try and paddle down Caldwell to grab himself a spot in that A final. So Brody and Ness 1-2, Caldwell hanging on to 3. Quigley in 4th at the moment, but desperately trying to get himself that one position ahead. Brody looking comfortable. It's a long way to paddle for these young men. 14 and under. So Brody, he will take it out. Chris Helly, his coach, will be pretty happy with that. Making his way through to the A final. Jason Ness from Westlakes will pick up 2nd, and the final spot in that A final will go to Taj Caldwell. He had a terrific start and then hung on to finish in 3rd place. Killian Quigley just not able to catch the Illawarra paddler. He'll finish in 4th. And a nice little battle going on for 5th, 6th and 7th between Badad Samandarian, Tyson Bussink and also Hugo Deng. Looks like Bussink's going to take it by about 3/4 of a boat length over Deng. So Bussink will cross the line in 5th, Deng there in 6th, and Badad Samandarian there in 7th. These young guys only 14 and under. They haven't been in these kayaks for all that long, so a great experience for them to be racing at a national championships and over a long distance, 1,000 metres.
So heading up to the A final now in the men's 14 and under K1 1000 was our winner Brody from Currumbin Creek, joined by Jason Ness of Westlakes and Taj Caldwell of Illawarra. We are at race 200 on our race programme, the men's K1 1018 and under. And in lane 1 we have Ryder Veering of Currumbin Creek. In lane 2, Christian Ireland of Mackay. In lane 3, Archer Thornthwaite of Manly Warringah. In lane 4, Willem Riddington of Sydney Northern Beaches. In lane 5, Chorley Courtwell of Mercantile. In lane 6, Lachlan Bean from Ascot. In lane 7, Wynnum Redlands paddler Riley Heilbron. In lane 8, Julian Glue from Avoca. And in lane 9, Finley Caruana from WA.
So Cornwell and Thornthwaite getting away well at the start of this men's 18 and under K1 1000 semi-final. Once again, the first 3 will make their way through to that A final. Christian Ireland from Mackay looking strong up alongside Thornthwaite, who's in lane 3. Across from him, Riddington and Cornwall also setting an early pace. Caruana from WA, Julian Glue from Avoca there, and also Riley Hilbrun from Wynnum Redlands also giving themselves a chance. It's going to be a tight one. A pretty even start in the early stages of this men's 18 and under K1 1000 race. Not a whole lot separating them. Looks like Charlie Cornwall may have continued to build on the good start that he had. Just ahead of Riddington, it looks as they hit the 500 metre mark. So it looks like Cornwall by about 3 or 4 boat lengths over Riddington. And then you can almost throw a blanket over the remainder of the field. So once again, those minor placings at this stage is where all the interest is going to be. Finlay Caruana, Julian Glue and Riley Holbron on this 9, 8 and 7. They are racing against each other to try and pick up that third place. Veering, not out of it yet, or is Christian Island. Thornthwaite as well, but it is Cornwall in the lead over Riddington in second place. Lockie Bean, the West Australian, fighting hard to try and get himself a spot in this A final. But no doubt about Charlie Cornwall in lane 5, the Mercantile Paddler. He's got about 4 boat lengths over Will Riddington. And you'll see how tight it is for this third place. Not much separating third and fourth at the moment. Not a whole lot to go, under 200 metres remaining. Thornthwaite may just be in front of Lockie Bean for that vital third place to get themselves into this A final. So it's going to be Cornwall. He's going to take it out. No problems at all for him. Riddington looking good into second place. Third place, that's where the race is. Thornthwaite looks like he might just have it over Bean. Bean digging deep though. He's got the rating up, trying to get this spot in this A final. Cornwall will cross the line in first place. Riddington in second. Bean chasing hard. Will he catch him? Thornthwaite might just hang on. Bean finishing strongly though. Can he get there? I don't think he can. I think Thornthwaite might have just got it over the top of Lockie Bean. Only a nose in it. So nice taste racing. Julian Glue crossing the line just ahead of Caruana and also Orange and Veering. So some real quality racing there and very tight, and we think Thornthwaite may just have got it over the top of Bean. Cornwall and Riddington definitely through to that A final.
And they're coming. Sorry, they're coming fast and furious now with the men's 18 and under K1 racing over 1,000 metres in progress already. Heat semi-final 2. We've got Orland Rettig from West Lakes in lane 1, Jerome Drobot from Avoca in lane 2, Bradley Boosink from Fairfield in lane 3, Marte Eels from Manly Warringah in lane 4, Holdfast Bay's Flynn Whelan in lane 5, Thomas Russell from Geelong in lane 6, Jesse Russell from Mercantile in lane 7, Bill McGuinn from the Sunshine Coast in lane 8 and Jack Whitford from the Sunshine Coast in lane 9.
And Flynn Whelan getting away early. He paddled extremely well in his heat and he looks like he's continuing his good form here. So Flynn Whelan looks like he might just be ahead of Thomas Russell, who is next to him, and also Jerome Drobot across there in lane 2 with the lime green cap, paddling strongly in these early stages of this race. It is semi-final number 2 of the men's 18 and under K1 1000. Flynn Whelan from Holdfast Bay setting the pace, but Drobot right up there alongside him, pressuring him all the way. Russell is there as well. So Flynn Whelan from Holdfast Bay leading this field as they approach the 200 metre mark. It is the semi-final, top three through to the A final. So no dramas there for Whelan. Jerome Drobot in second place. Russell in third. The rest have got a lot of work to do if they want to try and pin back Russell from Geelong in third place at the moment. So the chase starting to come from Mate Eels and also Jesse Russell, but it's too little too late for those young men. They're going to be beaten by the distance. So Flynn Whelan from Holdfast Bay, he's almost stopped paddling. He'll just let momentum take his boat across the line. Jerome Drobot will pick up second, and Thomas Russell there in third place. Mate Eels finished strongly. He'll be fourth. Jesse Russell there in fifth. Bradley Bussink in sixth, just ahead of Billy McGuinn. And then Orland Rettig as well. Those top six, or 4 to 6, will go through to the B final, 1 to 3 through to the A final.
Yes, and that first three is Flynn Whelan from Holdfast Bay, Jerome Drobot from Avoca, and Thomas Russell from Geelong. So off to the A final they go, and the next couple going through to the B final. Our third semi-final is now in progress. We've got Connor Jacob from Canning River in lane 1, coached by Michael Booth. Walter Nichols of the Sunshine Coast in lane 2, coached by Charlene Kelly. Joel Newton of Manly Warringah in lane 3, he's coached by Scott Dunbar. Byron Diekman from Sunshine Coast in lane 4. Aidan Hall of West Lakes in lane 5. Jacob Mako of Manly Warringah in lane 6, he's coached by Scott Dunbar. Tom Messenger from Queensland in lane 7, and Zen Salisbury of Bayswater in lane 8, coached by Andrew Crothers. And rounding out our field, in lane 9, representing Sydney Northern Beaches, Lachlan Dickinson.
They are underway. Aidan Hall off to a good start, as was Tom Messenger from Queensland. Byron Diekman, as you would expect, getting away cleanly as well. Lockie Dickinson in lane 9 and Zen Salisbury in lane 8, staying with the leaders in these early stages. As is Walter Nichols and Connor Jacob there from Canning River. Over in lane 1, Joel Newton also keeping himself in the mix, but Dickinson and Hall look like they are setting the early pace in this semi-final number 3 of the men's 18 and under K1 1000 race as they approach the halfway line. And looks like Byron Diekman it is in the lead, just ahead of Aidan Hall. So the second half of this race, and it is Byron Diekman just ahead of Hall. Walter Nichols looking strong, as is Jacob Mako. Messenger right up alongside him, along with Zen Salisbury. So once again, this third spot to get themselves through to the A final. There'll be a lot of interest in that. The two leaders seem to be pulling away, Byron Diekman from the Sunshine Coast and Aidan Hall there from West Lakes. Nichols looks like to be finishing strongly, putting a lot of pressure there on Messenger and also Salisbury. Mako as well, still not out of it. So as Diekman is about 2 boat lengths ahead of Aidan Hall, that's your 1-2. Nichols sitting in 3rd place at the moment. Not much separating him and Messenger though, Salisbury as well. Mako needs to lift to get himself into that 3rd place. The battle on for 3rd. So it's going to be Diekman to take it out. Hall will finish in 2nd. The sprint though for 3rd. Walter Nichols in that yellow boat from the Sunshine Coast may narrowly be just in front of the moment of Messenger. Mako though chasing hard. Final stages of the semi-final 3, men's 18 and under, K1 1000. Nichols working hard. Chase coming from Messenger. Diekman takes it. Hall goes 2nd. Messenger chasing hard, but I think Nichols is going to get it. Will he just? I think Walter Nichols might just have got it over Tom Messenger. Nothing separating the two. Great finish by Messenger, but I think Nichols may have just hung on. Jacob Mako just not able to get there in the end. Lockie Dickinson crossing the line, but really tight racing once again, those minor places. The desperation to pick up that A final spot, and it may just have gone to Nichols. We'll wait and see.
Some exciting racing there in the men's 18 and under K1s. We're going to stay with 1,000 metres, but now we have the final of the women's 14 and under K1s. We've got Serena Lee of Fairfield in lane 2, Evla Bassack of Fairfield in lane 3, Pippa Smith from Manly Warringah in lane 4, Catherine Shen of Fairfield in lane 5, Audrey Mackay of West Lakes in lane 6, and Isabel Ireland of Mackay in lane 7.
So a great moment for these young paddlers. 6 in total, an Australian title on the line. 1,000 metres is all that's separating one of these young ladies from heading back to school on Monday with an Australian champion medal around her neck. It looks like Audrey Mackay getting off to a good start along with Catherine Shen. Evia Bassack as well in lane 2. So a long way to go for these ladies. Plenty of tactics, a lot of being able to just stay in control, listen to what their coaches said, remember what they said, stick to the race plan, don't get too excited and go out too hard and burn all the energy up. It's a long race, they need to pace it well. And it looks like Catherine Shen may have taken an early lead. Evla Bassack as well got out of the blocks. Isabel Ireland as well. She's had a fantastic tournament, Isabel Ireland. They'll need a new bookcase at home to hold all the silverware that she'll be bringing home at the end of these championships. We know she can perform over the short distances. Let's see how she goes over the 1,000 metre. So Evla Bassack in that yellow boat in lane 3. Looking good at the moment alongside Catherine Chen. Pippa Smith trying to stay with them. Isabel Ireland looking comfortable. Audrey Mackay just off her shoulder. So it looks like it's between Ireland, Shen and Bassack. They're the 3 early leaders. Not much separating those 3. Serena Lee as well, there in lane 2. Really starting to find some rhythm, pulling up alongside Bassack. Lee may almost have got a nose in front as they make their way down towards the 500 metre markers, the halfway point for these young ladies. It's very tight for these first 4 positions between Lee, Bassack, Ireland and Shen. It may be Ireland. We'll see it as they do come to the markers. So it's going to be Ireland will be in the lead, just ahead of Shen, then Lee and Bassack. So Ireland by about a a boat length over Catherine Shen from Fairfield, and nothing separating Lee and Bassack. Lee maybe a half a boat length just ahead of Bassack, the two Fairfield competitors. But it was Isabel Island showing she doesn't care what the distance is, just give her a paddle and give her a boat and let her go. So Isabel Island in the lead, just over halfway, the women's 14 and under K1 1000 direct final. Island being pushed by Shen, Bassack and Lee, not out of it either, but it's going to be between those four. And once again, 4 doesn't go into 3, so one of them's going to miss out on the medals, which will be a real shame. It's been a great race between these 4 ladies. Pippa Smith and Audrey Mackay just not able to stick with the pace in the early stages of this race. So it's going to come down between these 4 paddlers. Only 3 will get a medal. Only 1 will get the gold. Isabel Island. Can she complete the sweep here at this championships and medal in all the distances as they approach the 200? Looks like she's got about 2 boat lengths over Catherine Shen, so Ireland looking good. 200 metres to go in the women's 14 and under K1 1000. Isabel Island in the lead. Catherine Shen in second. Serena Lee in third. Half a boat length ahead of Evla Bassack. So the battle for the minor medals between Lee and Bassack will be a beauty. Isabel Island, can she hang on? Catherine Shen from Fairfield chasing hard. Island from Mackay trying to hang on. Great racing by these young under 14 competitors. Now Serena Lee starts to exert her authority over there against Bassack, tries to pull away. Lee wants the silver medal. Island's going to take the gold. Who's going to take the minors? That's the question. So Isabel Island, she can win over any distance, this young lady from Mackay. Big finish coming from Shen. Serena Lee working hard. Catherine Shen's going to take the silver. Serena Lee, Evla Bassack, they're chasing hard, but Lee is going to take the bronze medal. Great racing between those two, but a dominant victory to Isabel Island, chased all the way by Shen, and Lee just getting ahead of Bassack to take the bronze medal. And Audrey Mackay there rounding out the field, the women's 14 and under K1 1000, the final.
That's our final competitor across the line in the final of the women's 14 and under K1, racing over 1,000 metres. A lovely win there to Isabel Island of Mackay, with Fairfield's Catherine Shen coming in second and Fairfield's Serena Lee coming in third. Race number 204 on our programme is a final of the men's 12 and under K1, racing over 1,000 metres. In lane 3, we have Leo Manser representing Avoca. Leo is coached by Angelika Siverbrandt. In lane 4, Kai Sinclair, also coached by Angelika at Avoca. In lane 5, Jack Corrin from Cobram Baruga. In lane 6, Nixon Wallace from Currumbin Creek, coached by Kenny Wallace. And in lane 7, Caden Scott from the same club. And we're running a combined race with the women's 12 and under K1, the sole representative from Goldfields, Daphne Bradley. She'll be in lane 9, which is closest to the screen and to the grandstand.
So Kai Sinclair getting away well for Avoca in this men's 12 and under K1 1000 direct final. A long way for these little arms to paddle, but great to see these young competitors. They are the future of the sport. Great to see them enjoying themselves out here at this regatta, rubbing shoulders with Olympians and other senior paddlers. Great to have them part of the community. And so it looks like Kai Sinclair taking an early lead in this race, but a long way to go. Nixon Wallace, he's in there, as well as Caden Scott, Kai Sinclair, Leo Manser as well. Chance of medal at an Australian title on offer for these competitors. So Daphne Bradley from the Goldfields in the women's 12 and under. She's there in lane 9. She's battling the clock as these 12 and under men make their way along this course. Kai Sinclair probably just ahead. In the early stages, Jack Corrin staying with him, as is Nixon Wallace. And Caden Scott not letting them get away. We'll try and pick them as they hit the 200 metre or the 500 metre mark, I should say. Kai Sinclair, it looks like he is in the lead. Leo Manser trying to stick with him. So as they approach the halfway point of this 1,000 metre race, it is Kai Sinclair in the lead, Leo Manser in second place, Nixon Wallace in third, Jack Corrin in fourth, Caden Scott staying with the leaders, 3 medals to be given out. Daphne Bradley from the Goldfields in the women's 12 and under, also having a terrific paddle there in lane 9. But it is Kai Sinclair with the lime green cap in the lead. The second part of this race now well and truly underway. So Sinclair just ahead of Manser, hanging on to the lead that he took basically from the start of this race. He got away really well and he's managed to maintain that pace. So Sinclair in the lead, Leo Manser from Avoca, these two Avoca teammates, 1-2 at the moment. Nixon Wallace from Currumbin Creek, trying to get himself in amongst that silver medal. He'll be battling with Manser for the honour. Caden Scott and Corrin not out of it yet, but they need to try to lift that rating if they want to try and catch either Manser or Wallace and pick up a medal to get to stand on the podium here. It's going to be Kai Sinclair, no problem about that at all. He's got about 8 or 9 boat lengths over second place. Still looking strong too in this 12 and under K1 1000. These young competitors giving it their all at the national titles here at the Sydney Regatta Centre. Young Kai Sinclair from Avoca, certainly one to watch. Be great to see how his career does unfold. So Kai Sinclair from Avoca in lane 4. He'll take out the men's 12 and under K1 1000, the direct final. That finish line can't come quick enough. It's been a long paddle for these young under 12s. But Kai Sinclair, great race by you. He'll take the gold medal. The race on for the silver between Leo Manser from Avoca. So Avoca will go 1-2. And Nixon Wallace from Currumbin Creek, he'll take the bronze medal. So great racing by all these young under 12 competitors. Real battle between Caden Scott and Jack Corrin. Corrin just lifts the rating, has a look across his shoulder, sees that he's taken Scott, so Jack Corrin crossing the line, and a tremendous parallel too there by young Daphne Bradley. She's been great all week so far. Daphne Bradley from the Goldfields. She'll take out the women's 12 and under K1 1000.
That's Daphne Bradley crossing the line now in the women's 12 and under K1 1000 metres. She represents Goldfields. And in the men's 12 and under K1, it was Kai Sinclair from Avoca who took out the win over Leo Manser and Nixon Wallace. So our race that's on the course now is a straight final between two open K2s racing over 1,000 metres. In the first, we've got Leela Furness from Gold Coast Paddle Sports with Jasmine Lane from Wynnum Redlands Canoe Club. They are coached by Peter Winton and they're racing in lane 5. And in lane 6 we have Elizabeth Lee from Fairfield with Lani Steele from Sunshine Coast Paddle Sports. They're coached by Charlene Kelly and Wen Ten.
So it is 1-on-1. The Sunshine Coast composite team up against the Wynnum Redlands composite team. Not a whole lot separating these two crews. They'll be giving each other the evil eye the whole way down for this 1,000 metre course. They know there's only one boat that they each need to be looking at. It's the one next to them. And in this early stage, it looks like it's the crew of Elizabeth Lee and Lani Steele, the Sunshine Coast composite team. They may just have an edge over Layla Furness and Jasmine Lane from the Wynnum Redlands composite team. It is the Women's Open K2 1000, the direct final, just the two competitors in it. Smaller numbers, high on quality. And as they make their way down towards the 500 metre mark, we'll get an indication of just what the difference is between these two teams. So it's Lee and Steele are definitely in the lead. And it's by about 2 boat lengths over Finesse and Lane. But as we've spoken about over this long course, the 1,000 metres, anything can happen in this back 500. If Lee and Steele have gone out too hard, no one knows how much Finesse and Lane have got left in the tank. Can they paddle them down? Can they take the gold medal? Or will Lee and Steele hang on? At the moment, the Sunshine Coast composite team, they are doing exactly that. They are holding on to the lead that they have built over the first 500 over Finesse and Lane. So it is the Sunshine Coast composite team, Elizabeth Lee and Lani Steele, in the lead of the Women's Open K2 1,000 metre direct final. About 250 metres to go Beautiful conditions, glassy water, warm weather, 33 degrees out here today. Heating up to 35 tomorrow, 37 on Sunday, so warm conditions coming up. And as these two teams approach the 200 metre mark, so 800 down, 200 to go, and it is the Sunshine Coast composite team of Elizabeth Lee and Lani Steele. They've got the gold medal in their sights. They've pulled out to about a 4 boat length lead now over Finesse and Lane. The Sunshine Coast team looking strong. They've got a nice rhythm going. Finesse and Lane desperately trying to reduce that lead, but that rubber band just keeps on stretching. So Lee and Steele, the Sunshine Coast composite team, comfortably in the lead of this Women's Open K2 1000, the direct final. Lee and Finesse, a mirror image of each other as they approach the finish line, and they make no mistake with their victory. It will be Elizabeth Lee and Lani Steele from the Sunshine Coast Composite. They will take out the Women's Open K2 1000 direct final, just ahead of Layla Finesse and Jasmine Lane from the Winnan Redlands Composite. So well done to Lee and Steele. Sunshine Coast Composite, gold medal in the Women's Open K2 1000 direct final. Finesse and Lane, the silver medal from the Winnan Redlands Composite team.
And in progress now is the first semi-final of the Men's Open K1, racing over 1,000 metres, with Alex Woodhouse of Sunshine Coast in lane 1, Maynard Gray of Swan in lane 2, Rez Diaz of Manly Warringah in lane 3, Michael Dunbar of Manly Warringah in lane 4, Jake Morris from New South Wales in lane 5, Kynan Burke from Illawarra in lane 6, Gabriel Cornwell of Mercantile in lane 7, Charles Heaton Armstrong of Sydney Northern Beaches in lane 8, and James Murray from INCC Yarra Paddlers in lane 9. The first 3 will progress through to the A final, the next 3 to the B final, and then we'll be looking for the next fastest.
And Heaton Armstrong getting off to an absolute flyer, as did Jake Morris. Looks like Morris may just have his nose in front as they approach the 500 metre mark of this race. Just outside him, Michael Dunbar also paddling extremely well, as is Diaz and Gray. But it looks like it will be Morris hits the lead at the 500 metre mark. Dunbar just behind him. Diaz currently in 3rd place. First 3 through to the A final. But Morris looking good in these early stages. Kynan Burke starting to pull up alongside. So plenty of racing still to go. Over in lane 1, Alex Woodhouse making a late surge. Rez Diaz trying to hang on as well, but Morris at the moment is in the lead of this semi-final number 1. Kynan Burke looks like he may have got himself up into 2nd place. Dunbar trying to hang on there as well. We'll see just how tight it is as they hit the 200 metre markers, but it is Morris definitely in the lead. No problems there. He's got about 2 lengths over Dunbar. Kynan Burke finishing strongly. as they hit that 200. Burke just sliding himself into second place, just ahead of Dunbar. Riaz Diaz dropping back to fourth and at risk of missing out on this A final. So the final sprint now underway for these competitors, the top three, to make themselves in this final. Jake Morris, he'll take it out by a couple of boat lengths. The chase is now on. Kynan Burke getting himself up into second. Dunbar working hard there in lane 5. Riaz Diaz desperately trying to pick up a spot in that A final. He may have lifted too late, so it's going to be Jake Morris will take line honours. Kynan Burke there, second place. Michael Dunbar, he'll move into the A final. And Diaz will be the first into the B final. Alex Woodhouse will join him, as will Gabriel Cornwall. Charles Heaton Armstrong, after a terrific start, crossing the line, Maynard Gray. And then James Murray to complete the field, but a dominant victory there by Jake Morris. Be looking forward to seeing him in that A final.
And they're off and running in our second semi-final of the men's Open K1 1000, with Liam Fell of Sydney Northern Beaches in lane 1, Max Humphries from South Australia in lane 2, Samuel Henson Thompson from Sunshine Coast in lane 3, Aidan Carberry of West Lakes is in lane 4, Alexander Raikkonen of Sydney Northern Beaches in 5, Mitchell Tamblin of Bayswater is in lane 6, Lucas Raikkonen of Sydney Northern Beaches in lane 7, Aidan Han of Fairfield in lane 8, and Chris Burns of Fairfield in lane 9. And again, it's the first three to the A final.
Yes, Aidan Han away well, as was Aidan Carberry from West Lakes, and big Samuel Henson Thompson from the Sunshine Coast. He had a good heat to get himself into this semi-final. He's been doing a lot of work on the water. So big Sam Henson Thompson, a good start. He's up alongside Aidan Carberry. Max Humphries is there as well, along with Liam Fell. Not a whole lot separating these paddlers in the early stages. Chris Burns in lane 9 from Fairfield. Aidan Han as well there from Fairfield. Raikkonen and Tamblin from Bayswater in lane 6. It looks like it might be Carberry though. We'll try and pick them as they hit this 500 metre line. As I mentioned, not a whole lot separating them. Han having a terrific race, but it looks like it is going to be Carberry will hit the 500 metre line in front. Sam Henson Thompson there in second place. Looks like Raikkonen there in third, and Fell and possibly Han next to each other as well. But at the moment, as they approach the second half of this race, it is Aidan Carberry in the lead. Sam Henson Thompson trying to hang on. Mitchell Tamblin as well, now starting to make his move in this race. Fell and Humphries trying to stay with the leaders. Beautiful glassy conditions. Who can hang on? That's the question. So it's going to be Aidan Carberry in the lead. Sam Henson Thompson just sitting with him. Mitchell Tamblin as well from Bayswater, West Australian paddler, getting himself up into contention. So Carberry maintaining his lead. He's got about a boat length over Sam Henson Thompson, hanging on to second. The long 200 metres to go will be the longest 200 metres of their life. Tamblin now into third. So at the moment it is Carberry in first place. Henson Thompson trying to hang on to second. Tamblin finishing strongly in third. The front three heading through to the A final. Now it starts to come from Aidan Han. He starts to lift. He wants to try and track down Tamlin and also Henson Thompson. Carby's going to hang on. He'll take it out. Henson Thompson trying to hang on to second. Tamlin chasing hard as well. Aidenhan may have left it a little bit too late. Humphreys as well, desperately trying to hang on. Henson Thompson has a bit of look over across his shoulder, sees that he's going to be okay. So it will be Aidan Carberry. He'll take it out. Nice finish there by Tamlin. Great backhand by him. Samuel Henson Thompson, he'll make his way into the A final. Aidenhan had a good finish, just not quick enough, just ahead of Ray Cooner. Alexander and Lucas. Max Humphreys there as well. Not much separating them all, but no doubt about the top three: Aidan Carberry, Mitchell Tamlin from Bayswater, and Sam Henson Thompson from the Sunshine Coast into the A final of the Men's Open K1 1000.
Such a fast finish. And looking forward then to the final of that tomorrow. We're going to move to some presentations now, so if you're in the grandstand, please don't go anywhere. We'll be presenting shortly. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have some award ceremonies for those of you who are in the grandstand. And we will start with the women's 14 and under K1, if the girls are ready. Ladies and gentlemen, the presentation of medals for the women's 14 and under K1 1000. The medals will be presented by Kenny Wallace, who is the head coach of Pathways for Paddle Australia and an paddling Olympian. In third place and bronze medalist, representing Fairfield Canoe Club, Serena Lee. Serena is coached by Wen Tan. Second and silver medalist, also representing Fairfield Canoe Club, Catherine Shen. Catherine is also coached by Wen Tan. And our gold medalist and national champion for 2025, representing Mackay, Isabel Ireland. Please congratulate all our medalists in the women's 14 and under K1 1000. Our next presentation will be to the men's 12 and under K1, where the medals will be presented by Jerry Dunn, Chair of the Australian Canoe Marathon Technical Committee and life member of Paddle Queensland and Paddle Australia. In third place and bronze medalist representing Currumbin Creek Paddlers Club, Nixon Wallace. Nixon is coached by Kenny Wallace. In second place and silver medalist representing Avoca Kayak Club, Leo Manser. Leo is coached by Angelika Siverbrandt. And our gold medalist and national champion for 2025, representing Avoca Kayak Club, Kai Sinclair. Please congratulate all our medalists in the men's 12 and under K1 1000. And our final presentation will be for the women's 12 and under K1 1000. And the medal again will be presented by Jerry Dunn, Chair of the Australian Canoe Marathon Technical Committee, life member of Paddle Queensland and Paddle Australia. In our women's 12 and under K1 1000 metre race, our gold medalist and national champion for 2025, representing Goldfields paddlers, is Daphne Bradley. That concludes our presentations for this session. Racing will resume again at 3:15 with the women's 18 and under and the women's open C2 racing over 200 metres. So the women's C2 races that I mentioned are now underway. They're racing over 200 metres, and in this first race we have Emily McCullen and Ellie Kernahan in the 18 and under C2, and they're racing in lane 4, and in lane 5 Eva Bruce and Josie Bulmer in the open C2. Both of these crews represent West Lakes. The under 18s are coached by Reese Backus, and the senior open, I should say, ladies, are coached by Luke Hannaford. My apologies, typical rower. I thought 500 metres, that's a sprint, that must be the 200, but no. So these competitors are now coming down onto the start line, so you've got plenty of time to come and get your grandstand seats to watch this racing over 200 metres. Following this, we have Women's Open K1 200 heats. There are 2 of those, and then we move to 16 and under K1s for both men and women. 18 and under K2s, and racing concludes after that at 4:10. That's our final race of the day.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and friends beyond the binary. My name is Bernadette Wallace. I'm here to help commentate this women's C2 200 metre, the splash and dash. Now we've got 2 C2s out there today, and as you can see, we've got a double right And you wonder, how does that boat even go straight? Taking strokes only on the right. Crazy. Well, you have two very skilled paddlers out there, Eva and Josie. Josie is a Tokyo Olympian, and I got very lucky that she steered me down the course in a straight line, and she will be able to handle this one today. Nice flat conditions. Now they are steering with each one of their strokes. They don't have a rudder. Oh, it looks like they're going in circles now. Prove me wrong. But it looks like they've got to do a nice little lap around at the back here. Hear a lot of things saying, wow, that looks hard and whatnot, but tell you what, I reckon I would put any money on anyone in a kayak here today. You go have a shot at this canoe. I reckon you'll be able to balance it before you could balance a race kayak. I'm trying to get you into it, of course. This is my little ploy to get you. I challenge you to go and try and balance it, and I think you could. I reckon you could for at least 10 seconds, you know. Going straight, I'll give you a week. We'll figure it out.
So with Emily and Ellie, one paddles left, one paddles right. Is that their natural side, or do they adapt for the C2?
And those two got lucky. That's their natural sides. So, which they're going to steer in a different way. Josie's going to use a lot of J strokes and C strokes and variations of that. And the other two get to steer by adjusting how long their strokes are or how short they are. So Ellie will still steer the boat in the back. So the back person steers, unlike in kayak where the front person steers. But in a double-sided, it's more that you take control of how long you want your stroke compared to the person in front. Or if you, having your strokes out of time actually help the steering sometimes. So if you did want the boat to move, maybe you do have to enter in before the other person to kind of kick it around. So different type of steering, but you end up learning both skills, because in Australia with the limited numbers, you've got to learn both ways. You've got to learn to do a double-sided C2 and the same side.
And is one an advantage over the other?
Oh, it depends on the paddlers. Like, there's definitely people on the world stage that are winning medals both on one side. It depends on, there's advantages and disadvantages. In terms of just getting in a boat, you know, on the day, having one on each side is a lot easier, but because it's less to work out, you know, on the boat trim where your knee blocks are going to go, there's a bit more to do with that when you are on the same side. But once you get to the top level, it's really who's worked with their teammate the best to figure it out, and what kind of skills you have to handle all the conditions.
And is the double harder to balance than the single?
Or again, depends on who you got in there.
Yeah.
Or I reckon the double's actually nicer if you're in the back. The back's lovely. Or kind of like K2 as well, right? The front seat is a bit skinnier, and the same in the canoe. The front is a bit skinnier, and you're kind of getting pushed around by the person behind you. So again, it's if you've got a good partner and you communicate well, it's pretty good.
And how long does it take for a combination to become good? Can you get in a boat and think, yep, we've got it straight away, or does even the best paddlers take a long time just to get that rhythm of two in a boat?
Oh, it's probably like exactly the same as kayak, right? Like except I don't think you have to deal with leans as much as what you would in a kayak, so it really depends on the people. But I think putting time into your skills and boat, like handling your boat, gives you such a huge advantage over just slapping the water. So you kind of have to have a bit of smarts on you to get in the canoe as well. So I think, again, it depends on the combo that you've got, but as long as you're communicating well and you're taking your strokes in time and letting your boat run in between those strokes, generally you can figure it out. If you hop on the water with a plan, you can figure it out.
Yep. So the big question is, do you know what the delay is?
Yes, because you put them in the boot of the gate.
So there's a problem with the gate, which is the reason for the delay to the start of this women's 18 and under C2 200 metre final and the women's open C2 200.
They'll be able to handle this. They've been through these kind of delays before, and these kind of things can happen if, you know, someone in the race in front of you falls in, or there can be, any sort of delay. They'll be able to handle it. And they've been paddling for quite some time now. So you've got Josie that's been representing Australia in the C1 and in the kayak since she was 16, I believe. So she's done enough races to be able to handle this. Ellie is a Asia Pacific representative for Australia, winning gold at the Asia Pacific Cup this year in the C2 with Eva Bruce, who is now they're separated in this race. They're in separate, but and you've got Emily McMullen that actually started not that long ago, wasn't around for last nationals, so she's very fresh, but having such an amazing regatta here, narrowly missing the win from Josie in the women's C1 200. So we've got a bit of speed in that front of the boat, so this will be possibly something new to her, but it's fine. She's got people around her that have done this lots before.
And for the people at home wondering what the problem with the gate might be, what could the problem be?
Sharks.
Could it be anything?
Snakes. For our international viewers, the snake got into the gate and really got it. No, I'm joking. So I really don't know. I'm sure that's not true. No, these are running all day for an entire regatta in water. So I'm really not sure, but.
And so the gate being the thing that pulls the little yellow thing down? Is that a simple way to explain it?
Gate, nose cone. So that's what's going to hold you in place, and we use them to be ICF standard, which is International Canoe Federation standard, and it's what is being used when you do go to a World Championships or a World Cup or a Paralympics or Olympics, and it just makes it fair. So all boats can be held on the line equally, and we've got volunteers running it, got lots of volunteers making sure that these gates work, but less about people lying down on the pontoon in these heats. So very thankful to have these gates working, or even possibly working. It looks like one of the gates isn't going down.
Yeah,
it looks like all the rest are good to go.
Gate 8 seems to be the stubborn one at the moment. Not playing. And so with those gates, we've had a couple of false starts, people breaking. How do you break if the gate's not, if you've got the gates, how do you still break with a gate?
Oh, you can run into it. You just ran it.
So you can just push it through it, push through it.
Ran it, a big rebound, and then give yourself an extra metre to race forward. You see if you can break the nose of your boat on that thing. Sometimes that actually, if you push onto it too hard as it's going down, it will actually pull the nose of your boat down and give you a bit of a bounce back as well. So, you've really got to be vigilant with your nerves on holding and making sure that you get to practice before you get here, balancing your boat, not moving between set and go. I think sometimes at home when we're training, we put so much emphasis on, a 5-minute effort, a 4-minute effort, all the sprints and things like that, whereas the thing that might actually stuff you up is how you balance a boat for 5 seconds. Yeah, it looks like a party going on up the course.
Yeah,
Look how many there are. I didn't get invited.
Lots of
Thanks a lot,
boats
guys.
all gathering.
Can we get some music up there?
Because the next race after this is the Women's Open K1 200 heat number 1. So we've got 2 heats for the Open women. So they're all starting to converge, and then they'll be followed by the men's 16 and under K1 200. So it looks like a few of those young men are out on the course as well. and 3 heats for those. So the paddlers starting to bank up out the back, waiting for their race.
If you are a parent or a coach or anyone that's taking care of any of those paddlers, I highly recommend running up some water to them, because some of them might not have water in their boats because they're going out for a 200. A lot of people take out water for the 5s and 1000s, but if you are taking care of anyone up there, or you do have a someone that you're cheering on, go make sure that they're being taken care of.
Yeah, a few of them seem to be heading towards shore at the moment. So plenty of activity out on the water, just not a lot of action at the moment as we are waiting for this gate to be repaired so we can get the first of the scheduled events, which is the women's 18 and under C2 200 and the women's open C2 200. That's the one that we're waiting to get underway, and then we'll get into the women's K1 200 open and then the men's 16 and under K1 200. So all the paddlers starting to head to shore. I realise they might have a bit of a wait.
Yeah, I think we're lucky. I mean,
Can you make an announcement that we 15 minutes delay? Sure can.
So ladies and gentlemen, just confirming that there has been an official delay of 15 minutes announced, which is why you'll see athletes are coming off the water. So coaches and athletes just confirming a 15-minute delay. Probably advisable to come off the water and certainly to make sure you take on board some fluids and get in the shade. So a 15-minute delay. So if you are watching us on the live stream, you will see that I'm joined here in the commentary box by our Olympian and coach, Bernadette Wallace. And if you're sitting there in the grandstand, you'll be able to hear us chatting. Racing has been somewhat delayed, and it gives us a great opportunity to say hello to you and have a chat with you. You've already been talking about the Canoe event that was supposed to be happening now. We have some technical problems, so why not fill in the time by saying hello and finding out what's happening in your world.
Yes, I am looking forward to filling this gap in the aircon. This is exactly why I came up to have a lovely chat while we're up here. And luckily they delayed it so I can stay in here longer. It's very nice. I'm just hiding
Don't
from my
tell
coaching
everyone.
duties. Don't tell the head coach Luke right now. If anyone's out there, do not message
They'll
him.
never know.
Yeah.
It's not at all public.
Yeah. Dad, I know you're listening to this. Do not message my boss that I'm hiding. Very good. Yeah.
So, yes, I think, well, the last time I remember seeing you, which is a couple of years ago now, I think, baby had arrived. Coaching was a big part of your life as opposed to being an athlete. You'd been through quite a big change, and I hear some more changes are on the way. So
Yes.
catch me up with what's happened over the last year or two.
Yeah, I've been a crazy lady. I for some reason, when I got pregnant post Tokyo, I decided to finish off my degree with Griffith University. So I finished off my Bachelor of Design, decided to start illustrating a book for Bonnie Hancock that just got released, Diamond of the Sea.
Right.
So that's out now. If anyone wants to head to diamondofthesea.com.au and put in a nice order. Or Amazon, of course, you can
Right.
head there. But
Yes.
so decided to take that on. Started the AIS Gen 32 coaching program.
Congratulations.
thank you.
Yes. Fantastic.
Yeah.
What an opportunity. So
yeah,
good,
it's so
isn't
good.
it?
It's like life-changing opportunity, that program.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, we just got lucky. Gemma got in at NSWIS. Gemma Smith got
Yep.
the more recent one. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
And
it's
for
great.
those who aren't aware of it, obviously the lure of being part of the journey towards gold medals at the 2032 Brisbane Olympics and Paralympics is very strong. There's always more funding, I think, made available for sport when you've got a home Olympics, and there's that whole buzz and excitement. But to build a campaign like this on the back of that is just is typically Australian, actually. Take advantage of an opportunity and get the most out of it.
Yeah, and I think just in general we can do better in valuing coaches more in the role that we play as a bigger part in like society. Everyone remembers their first coach or what their coach said or the
Yeah.
good things that their coach said, and
Yeah.
a lot of those words shape a person's future in making sure that we're doing that right. Especially, and we got, it's so lucky that we've got Brisbane coming up, that we can start working towards that and building a cohort of coaches that can, make the games the successful games, and also build some people that are going to go haven't even started sport yet.
Yes.
Yes. So
Yeah.
ready to pick those people up and
Yeah.
help them get there as well.
Yeah, I'm now head coach of a school rowing program, and that's
Ooh.
exactly how I feel. I'm looking at
Yeah.
these girls thinking, what a great opportunity. I talk to them about rowing and about the Olympics, and my whole school's really engaged with Olympic sport, but so that the awareness is one thing, but then the actual talent spotting and talent development is another thing, because it's so real, you can almost touch it. I came to this country in 1998, so in the build up to the 2000 Olympics, and that was really something special. But when I look at how far Australia has come in terms of coaching, back then there were a lot of coaches being brought in from overseas, including my husband, which is why I live here, and now we're growing our own talent. Now we're really putting our coaches coaching our up-and-coming coaches and coaching new talent. Very exciting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like I said, I have a Bachelor of Design. I could have gone that way, but knowing that our Australian system wanted to pick me up and wanted to do that, and it is a real job in a very, very real education. It's being treated a lot more seriously now as well, because they want to, because
We want the best
trying to
coaches.
get
Yeah.
homegrown coaches, and they can be here. Why not?
Yeah.
Like, and that's the being Australian as well, right? Is being so competitive. Like, oh no, we'll fix that. Our coaches can be better than your coaches.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, but I'm glad that you got out here. that is good. Yeah, and it's still, of course, it's still good to have
Yes.
international coaches.
Yeah.
To
That's a good balance. You
yeah,
need a bit
just
of a
more
balance.
balance, right? That's
Yeah,
probably
some input.
Yeah.
But the performance of paddle has been very exciting, and you've just really just come back from Paris, all right?
Oh, no, I didn't get to Paris. Didn't get
Not
to
coaching?
coach over there,
Right.
which is totally proud of me. I'm not there.
Got lots
but,
of other things going on in your life, obviously. Yeah.
I got a hat from my brother. Brought me back a hat, which was lovely. So I've been wearing that. But yeah, got to watch on from home. And we got to watch on for the first time being an Olympian. I think was different than the times before. Not.
Yes.
Just like seeing it from a different angle, being like even more proud of the people that were racing, kind of understanding another level of what they're going through and what they've been through,
Yeah.
what they're doing, and the pressure that they're under, and watching differently, I guess.
Yes.
Again, so
Yeah.
it's quite
And that's all part of the education as well as a coach, isn't it? So for me, going to the Tokyo Paralympics as a coach, and then watching the Paris Paralympics and just the contrast, because of course in Tokyo the people cheering us on were the physios, the sports scientists and the other coaches. There was nobody else there. So Paris looked amazing. So yeah.
Oh my God, it would have been so different.
Yeah.
Yeah, my memory of, a few memories, but the noise that I could hear racing down at Tokyo was my brother yelling from the side, because he was a deputy chef de mission for Australia. And what I could hear, I'm going to say a bad word, everyone, not too bad, but it was go turd was what I could hear at the start. I did not say that word, please excuse, is that a bad word?
No,
But
not in the context.
That is what I heard, and that is what I've heard for a lot of my racing career. But it's so funny because no one was in there. That was like the voice I could hear.
Yes.
Which is very lovely that I have my brother there. I got very lucky with that, in that way, and that definitely stained my memory.
But it sounds as though we're just about back on. Right, we are. So. Yep. So for those of you who are in the grounds, especially the coaches and athletes, and for those of you who are watching us, joining us online, the racing is going to restart at 4 o'clock, which is exactly 45 minutes after the time we were supposed to start this afternoon's session. So that means you can take the race time that you did have, add 45 minutes, and you can now go and start your routine ready to race. Yeah. So that gives us a few more minutes to talk. So, coaching now?
Yes. I am coaching mainly para-canoe in South Australia, and I'm a bit across all the disciplines. Bit of canoe,
Which is
bit
good.
of under 18s, bit of the high performance SASSy scholarship people, kind of across a bit of everything, but the main one I'm doing is para-canoe, and getting really into that, which has been great with the support Para Sports has.
Yes,
in Brisbane
especially
as well.
and your beautiful new building at the South Australian Sports
yes,
Institute
it is
under
very lovely.
Kerry Faulkner, your director. So
Yes.
it's all happening in South Australia, but particularly for para sports. Fantastic.
Yeah, and I think it's a great. South Australia's been like such a good place for para sport even before this
Yes.
uplift. So, my main job is making sure that there's a pathway for people to enter, and I say people and athletes, because we get both. We get people that start that have never done the sport before, but
Yeah.
have all the characteristics of an athlete that might be, you know, a boss at their day job, but have acquired a disability
Yep.
and ready to change their life. And but we also get athletes, talent transfers and people like that. So I'm starting people paddling that have never done, like, you know, they're strong in that, but they've never done a Paralympic sport before. And so taking
Yeah.
those guys in and
Amazing.
yeah, it's
What
so
an
cool.
opportunity.
Yeah, it's great to see the journeys that happen and
Yeah.
just the self-belief
Yeah.
that comes with taking on the sport and lining yourself up. And,
Yeah. Yeah.
this week I've been so proud. We've got 3 South Australians that have come here to race. Dr. Emily Pay, keep on saying doctor because she does. She's
So
got a
you
P-
should.
She's got a PhD in classification, which is wild. Like, also Guinness World Record holder in, oh my God, my brain just, marathon in the seated chair. Like,
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, she
Yeah.
can train. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So, so she's been out here. She did really great. 2nd place in the VAR and in the kayak. So, the other really cool thing about Paracanoe is you get to do both disciplines if you are classified that way. So
right.
we've got a few Jessica Fox type moments. Well, we're hoping for Jessica Fox type moments. You know?
Fantastic. Yep. Go
out there.
paddle, leading
Yeah.
the way in sport.
Yeah, well, that's what we've just started. We have to call it paddle in South Australia. Like, you know, we're going through the gates and like, you here for kayak? And we're like, paddle. Like, language is really important now because we've got everyone in the
Yes.
same shed. And it's, you know, the more disciplines, the more medals as well.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and it's amazing sport paddle in that there are so many disciplines as part of it, and as the opportunities for para athletes in particular are therefore so broad,
yeah.
which is really good. Yeah.
Of the discipline, more like your discipline, we have Simon Albury, who was a
Yes.
Tokyo Paralympian
In rowing, yes,
has
that's
just
right.
turned himself around
Yeah.
and started going forward in a VAR. So that's
Yeah,
been great.
that's fantastic. He's such a powerful athlete.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
really enjoy that. Great. I'll have to come along and cheer him on.
Yeah, he'll be on Sunday morning for the 500 again. So
Excellent.
yes,
Excellent. Really good.
he's really good. They had a false start in their V1 200. You know, he can go backwards really fast. So he can just back it up.
And yes, I can think of lots of para talent transfer you could do. I'm sure Nikki Ayres would be phenomenal in a kayak as well.
Oh,
so
wouldn't that be a
or a
dream?
canoe. Yeah.
Nikki, if you're bored
Yeah.
and you want to like come hang out, that's fine. Yeah, that's definitely.
And so a lot of the focus is on being in Queensland, getting ready for the 2032 Olympics. There is a high performance centre there, isn't there? So do you take your para canoeing athletes there for camps and things, or not? It's not up to that stage yet.
Dr. Emily just attended a national camp, but they don't have to relocate because it's.
Yeah.
We've got. Yeah.
It's a long way off yet.
Yeah, and it's a different lifestyle for our para athletes as
Yeah.
well when they've
Yeah.
got their support systems where they are. So jumping up and moving isn't
Yeah.
the best thing always. For
Yeah,
them.
that's a challenge for
who-
para rowing too. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure all para sport. But yeah, I agree with you totally.
Yeah.
That support system for somebody who wants to be a high performing athlete is incredibly important, and
Yeah.
particularly as you become more impaired as you go along the categorization. So yeah,
Yeah.
good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like so far the head coach Anna Wood leaves the doors always open and
Yeah.
her phone always on to give a call and make sure we're on track and
That's fantastic.
yeah. So that's been doesn't feel disjointed to our national team and to the NCE, the National Centre of Excellence. It's not so like they're up there and we're down here. It's every week or whatnot,
Yeah.
chatting about what
Fantastic.
we're doing. So yeah.
Yeah.
It's
And for you with your coaching, how great to have a mentor and head coach like Anna, so experienced as both an athlete and a coach to work with.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like, I remember my first nationals lining up in a kayak in open women's as a 15-year-old, and I think she was a lane next to me, 2 lanes
Oh,
across.
wow.
Absolutely giving me a flogging. It was absolutely. So, you know, of course, like in awe straight away, besides all of her accomplishments, obviously. Having her as, she is actually my mentor in the Gen 32 program.
Right, fantastic.
Yeah, that's good. And we've known each other and worked as coach athlete before as well, and kind of knowing how each other works and forgiving and
Yeah,
whatnot. Like, it's
supporting each other. Yeah.
so far so good.
Yeah.
People are paddling. So
That's really good. Sounds like you're doing an amazing job. Thank you so much for spending time with us and talking about what you're doing.
Yeah,
Always
thank
exciting
you.
to watch the journey, especially when an athlete moves into coaching like you've done.
Yeah.
You bring all of that experience and then you are distributing that and sharing it with the athletes you're coaching. So we
Yeah.
wish you the very best of luck. We'll be watching your career, I'm sure, and we need to interview you every Nationals and find out how it's going.
Oh, well, if it's hard, you will be. We'll see. Well, it looks like people are actually hopping on now. So
They are.
that's
So we
really good.
have about 7 minutes until race starts again at 4 o'clock. So Bernadette Wallace, thank you very much
Yep.
indeed for joining us
you.
here in the commentary box.
Great. Thank you very much.
So just confirming that racing is going to restart at 4 o'clock with the finals of the women's 18 and under C2 and the women's open C2. And then we'll be moving on to the women's open K1 over 200 where we have heats. and starting the men's 16 and under K1 200 shortly after that. So with the 45-minute delay, we were scheduled to hold our last race at 4:10, so we'll now be finishing at around 5 o'clock this afternoon, and hopefully it'll cool down a bit.
Looks like the women's C2 are coming up to the gate. This is a hot race, literally hot, but also it will be very, very speedy. So they're going slow now, but you won't be seeing any of that in a moment. This will actually be such a close race. So if you did watch the 500, you would have seen Emily and Ellie, their nose out in front for maybe the first 200. Maybe the first 175, so this will be on the line.
And are there tactics in this, or is it just go?
Go and go together, and don't let the wheels fall off. And psych out your opponent. That's always a good one. Here we go.
So just a reminder, we've got Emily McCullen and Ellie Kernahan, the youngsters, in lane 4, and Eva Bruce and Josie Bulmer in lane 5.
So who's it going to be, Bernadette?
Well, I think it looks like Emily and Ellie are out in front at the moment, but we've got to wait for Eva and Josie's big finish, which they usually do. But right now you can see Emily is in that big launch position in front, posture over, big reach, and Ellie's just backing her up. Ellie's just come from a double right C2, so steering this will be easy for her. Oh, it's...
Here comes the big finish.
Or it's right on the line. A little beat, maybe by not quite a metre. We had Emily and Ellie taking the gold. So that would be their first gold. They're under 18s, but in terms of if that was both opens, that would be their first gold. Josie and Eva got them in the 500, so well done, girls.
Pretty exciting. The future looking good in the C2 event.
Yeah, and it's great to see Emily's actually a carpenter. She's I think she's still 16-year-old
Doing an
carpenter
apprenticeship or
working
something?
5 days a week. Like she's balancing her life right now in that canoe so well.
That is so good to hear. Right, we're moving on to the first heat now of the Women's Open K1 200, where the first 3 will progress through to the final and the next 3 to the semi-final, and then we'll be looking for the next fastest paddler for that semi-final. In lane 1, representing Bayswater, Jen Stanley. In lane 2 from Bayswater, Abby Major. In lane 3 from Queensland, Alexandra Clark. In lane 4 from Currumbin Creek, Stephanie Chen. In lane 5 from Avoca, Natalia Drobot. In lane 6 from West Lakes, Caitlin Webber. In lane 7 from Sunshine Coast, Phoebe Wills Grace. In lane 8 from Bayswater, Sarah Major. And in lane 9 from the Sunshine Coast, Phoebe Woodhouse. I've just remembered, from years ago, Stephanie Chen, Singaporean representative. And we have a few names here from the 2024 Australian under-23 team as well. So this is going to be another fast and ferocious race.
Yes, plenty of quality on display. The first of two Open Women's K1 200 heats. 1 to 3 to the final, 4 to 7 through to the semi-final. So once again, these paddlers looking for the express pass straight into the final. Hot conditions, so probably staying out of that heat for as long as you can and as often as you can would be the plan. So that direct entry into that final would be invaluable on a day like today. So racing back underway after a delay because of a problem with the gate. Everything seems to be back up and running, touch wood. Because plenty of racing still to come this afternoon here on day 3 of the Paddle Australia Sprint Canoe Championships of Australia. High quality field away well. Sarah Major got a terrific start, as did Stephanie Chen from Currumbin Creek. Sarah Major working hard. Natalie Drobot as well in the middle. So not much separating them. Abby Major across in lane 2. Stephanie Chen there in 4 from Currumbin Creek. Drobot as well starting to clear out. Phoebe Wills Grace as well. So nothing separating these paddlers. Front 3 through. Phoebe Woodhouse in lane 9 finishing strongly. It looks like it might be Drobot though from Avoca. Just with the nose just slightly in front of Major Clark as well. And that's how the first 3 will finish. Weber in 4th, I think it might have been, but it was certainly Drobot, Major, as Clark comes across the line. I have had a little bit of trouble some stage of that race, but certainly no doubts about the winner, Natalie Drobot there from Avoca. First 3 through.
And coming on to the start of our second heat of the Women's Open K1 200, Jasmine Lane of Wynnum Redlands in lane 1, Emerson Hardy of Queensland in lane 2, Alyssa Bailey of Currumbin Creek in 3 and Claudia Bailey in lane 4, Kaylee Harlan of Sydney Northern Beaches in lane 5, Jasmine Raywood from Currumbin Creek in lane 6, Samantha Lurie of Bayswater in lane 7, Chelsea Sutton of Manly Warringah in lane 8, and Lani Steele of Sunshine Coast in lane 9. A full field. So we have 9 official lanes here at the Sydney International Regatta Centre, but paddle is amazing how many more they can squeeze in.
Yeah, we've had a couple where there was a lane 10 being used and they actually moved across to lane 0. So it's possible probably to jam an 11 in if they needed to.
I certainly have seen that before, yes, and I'm pretty sure once I saw 12 lanes, but I'm not quite sure how they did that, whether somebody had to paddle up over the pontoon at the finish.
But a fantastic venue, real legacy of Sydney 2000. And great to see it's being used so well.
So we've got more of our under-23 team from last year in this open event. Alyssa Bailey, Claudia Bailey, Kaylee Harlan, all right next door to each other. We'll make for, those Bailey sisters are ferocious at racing, so it's going to be a great race. Another great race. And again, first 3 through to the final.
Yes, lots of sibling rivalry. We've seen the Pegram sisters at it earlier today. The Baileys about to battle each other in Heat 2 if this Women's Open K1 200. First 3 through to the final, 4 to 7 through to the semi-final, and then the next fastest will join them in that semi-final. The Bayswater paddlers have traditionally been very quick off the start over this regatta, so watch for Sammy Lowry in that green boat in lane 7. One of a number of Bayswater paddlers that have had some success over the last couple of days. Kaylee Harlan, we know how quick she can be. Raywood's been in good form as well. They're all the way pretty clean. Claudia Bailey probably got the best of the starts. Kaylee Harlan not far behind her. Emerson Hardy as well, getting off the line very quickly. Sammy Lowry, as expected, did too, as did Chelsea Sutton. So a good start. Harlan may just have the nose in front. Bailey, though, not letting her have it her own way across there in lane 2. Emerson Hardy as well, off to a flyer. They're the front 3 at the moment as we have about 50 metres to go in this Women's Open K1 200. Kaylee Harlan looks like she might just have the nose in front. Harlan's going to take it out. Bailey in lane 4 will be second. Tight finish for third. And I think it might have just gone to Jasmine Raywood, finishing really strongly. They have just got over the top of Hardy, and Lowry just couldn't quite get there in the end. But definitely Harlan and Bailey for 1-2. And I think Jasmine Raywood may just have snuck in to third place for that direct entry to the final. The rest 4 to 7 through to the semi-final.
So our next race coming up onto the start line now at 200 metres is the men's 16 and under K1. And here we have 3 heats with just the first paddler to cross the line to go straight to the A final, and the others having to contest a semi-final. In lane 1 we'll have Dean Parsons of Sydney Northern Beaches, coached by Christine Duff. In lane 2, Taj Williams of Hunter Valley. In lane 3, Finley McLennan of Sydney Northern Beaches, also coached by Christine Duff. In lane 4, Alexander Small of Swan, coached by Demi O'Brien. In lane 5, Riley Scott of Correndon Creek, coached by Dave Smith. In lane 6, Lachlan Matthews of Sydney Northern Beaches. In 7, Hayden Leno of Wynnum Redlands, coached by Matthew Ingerman. In lane 8, Cooper Alt from Fairfield, coached by Wen Tan. And in lane 9, Dingji Zhan from Manly Warringah.
So away for a start, Riley Scott from Currumbin Creek getting away well, as did Cooper Alt from Fairfield. Alexander Small from the Swan Club as well. Cooper Alt though in lane 8 really powering away. Riley Scott going out hard as well, being chased by Alexander Small. So it's going to be between, looks like, Scott and Alt for the 1-2. Hayden Leno chasing hard. Alexander Small as well. Tight finish, first 3 to go through. Riley Scott looks like he's going to take it out. Alexander Small will pick up second. Cooper Alt will grab, in fact, Cooper Alt swinging down to get the second place just ahead of Alexander Small. Hayden Leno there in 4th place, but a really fast finish by Cooper Alt. Alexander Small, we thought he had second place wrapped up, but over that last 20 metres, just Cooper Alt, the power of the Fairfield paddler, getting himself into second place. So it was Scott in first, Alt in second, Small in third. They're straight through to the A final. That was heat 1 of the men's 16 and under K1 200.
Just goes so fast, 200 metres, doesn't it? Last weekend, I'm sure people are very bored of knowing that I'm a rowing coach, but last weekend we had a new race type here at the Sydney International Regatta Centre at the Schoolgirl Head of the River in the lunch break, where they had the sprint eliminator for the elite female rowers, and on the Sunday when it was the schoolboy Head of the River, they had the sprint eliminator for the male athletes. And it was a format of using all of these 9 lanes in your rowing boat, 250 metres flat out sprint, and our sprint races are 500 normally, so it really was ferocious, a bit like the 200 metre sprints in the paddles. And then whoever was the last dropped out. They went back to the start.
That's
and
brutal.
Yes, did 8 lanes, 7 lanes, 6 lanes, 5 lanes, and so
Wow.
it went down to the last 2, and there was money up for grabs as prizes as well. Ferocious, and not the people that you necessarily thought were going to win, not
Yeah,
the people
okay.
that are fastest over 2,000 metres or
Yep.
even 1,500 metres or 1,000 metres. So yeah, it was fantastic, great fun.
What was the time drop-off over those races?
Oh, that's a very good question. I haven't analysed it at all, but I would imagine there'd be a bit.
You'd think so.
Yeah.
That's a lot of racing
Yes, isn't
at
it?
pace.
Yeah. Although if we were preparing for a 2,000 metre race, we would do something like 10 500s
Yeah,
as
that's
part
true.
of your
Yep.
training. So it's but you probably would. They only had 5 minutes turnaround in
Yeah,
between
okay.
races. Yeah, good lactate training.
Yes.
Sports scientists should have been out there taking lactate, shouldn't they? So decide who really should be in the team. So just a reminder, folks, that everything is running 45 minutes after the published race time. So this next race of the 16 and under athletes in their K1s, racing over 200 metres, has Connor Riches in lane 1 from Sunshine Coast, Taj Purcell in 2, Dane Raywood in 3 from Currumbin Creek, and his clubmate Asa Poland from Currumbin Creek in 4, Orlando Fonseca, who's been so impressive, paddles for Bayswater, he's in lane 5, Alasdair Marsden from Swan in 6, Charlie Wright from Manly Warringah in 7, Callum Lincoln from Cobram Baruga in 8, and Zach Moffat from Manly Warringah is in lane 9.
So watch for, it's a good field, Purcell, Raywood, Poland, Fonseca, Marsden. It's a stacked heat. So all the way pretty clean. Marsden in that camouflage boat away well, as was Orlando Fonseca. Purcell in lane 2, also off to an absolute flyer. Fonseca looks like he may just have the nose in front as well. Zach Moffat chasing hard. So it looks like Fonseca setting the early pace, being chased by Marsden. Asa Poland on his inside. Taj Purcell out there in lane 2. They look like the leaders at the moment with about 50 metres to go. It's going to be Fonseca in lane 5, the Bayswater paddler, continuing his good form of this championship. Poland will take second place. Purcell will be third. Alistair Marsden there may just grab third. It'll be, he may have just got it. So Marsden may just paddled over the top of Purcell. Great finish by Marsden. He may have got himself into that A final in the shortest possible way, as we see Charlie Wright and Callum Lincoln just get across the line, but no doubt at all about the winner. It was Orlando Fonseca from Bayswater. His coach Andrew Crothers will be very happy with his paddle, and we'll try and confirm who snuck home for third between Marsden and Purcell. Marsden may just have got him right at the death.
Coming on to the start now, the competitors in Heat 3, the final heat of the men's 16 and under K1 200, with Noah Kelland of Bayswater in lane 1, Brodie Frew of Avoca in lane 2, Harry Thornthwaite of Manly Warringah in 3, Bo Jacob of Canning River in 4, Axel Tan of Fairfield in lane 5, Finn Ireland of Mackay in lane 6, Ethan Yang of Fairfield in lane 7 and Griffin Angelatos of Bayswater in lane 8.
So away, and Axel Tan from Fairfield off to an absolute flyer. Griffin Angelatos as well out early, as was Bo Jacob. And across there in lane 1, Noah Kelland also getting off to a flyer. Brodie Frew as well trying to stick with him. But it looks like Bo Jacob trying to hang on to Axel Tan, who set the early pace. Finn Ireland and Ethan Young also working hard. But it looks like it may be Axel Tan. Noah Kelland, though, really pushing hard. Tan trying to hang on. First 3 through. In fact, first we'll go through to the final, and it will be Axel Tan. He'll take it by about a boat length over the top of Kelland, Frew, and then Bo Jacob. Nothing separating, though. Ethan Yang, Finn Ireland and Griffin Angelatos as well. Very close between those two and Harry Thornthwaite. But Axel Tan streeting the field, winning that one by a couple of boat lengths, so he'll go straight in to the A final. That was Heat 3 of the men's 16 and under K1 200. So a cracked field, but certainly taking some good form into that race. Axel Tan there from Fairfield. His coach Wen Tan will be very happy with the way his young paddler went about that race. And just in that earlier race where we weren't too sure who got home provisionally, it was Fonseca, no doubt about him in first place, Poland in second, and it was Marsden just getting over the top of Purcell. And we've moved from men's 16 and under K1
to women's 16 and under K1, still racing over 200 metres. We have the first heat of, that's very strange, it said, oh right, yes, first heat of 4 with Abby Parsons of Sydney Northern Beaches in lane 1 in this first heat, Emma Jarvis of Bayswater in lane 2, Mia Wall of Fairfield in lane 3, Abby Osborne of Fairfield in lane 4, Hayley Dunbar of Manly Warringah in lane 5, Ella Pegram of Avoca in lane 6, Camilla Barbie of Swan in lane 7, and Maya Jalaka of Manly Warringah in lane 8. These athletes have been going round and round all day, haven't they?
Yeah, they certainly get their money's worth, don't they? They get a lot of racing, which is fantastic.
They must be so fit.
And it's great by Paddle Australia too, if there is really enough, you could just call it a straight semi-final, but they do run heats and then have the semi-finals and the finals. So
Yep.
these athletes do get a lot of racing under their belt, which is terrific.
A great experience, which is why they're so competitive,
Yeah.
I guess, internationally, yeah. Hardened to racing.
Yeah, and that ability just to keep racing throughout the day
Yeah.
and know that they can do it.
Yep, it's very important.
So away in the women's 16 and under K1, Camilla Barbie getting off to a fly, as was Hayley Dunbar and Abby Osborne. Mia Wall up there as well. Emma Jarvis also pushing for line honours. So a line of 4, Camilla Barbie. She's there. Dunbar, Osborne and Wall spread right across, as well as Jarvis. Pegram now trying to pull them back as they approach the final stages of this 200. It's going to be Hayley Dunbar. She's about a quarter of a boat length in front, being chased there by Jarvis, separated by Mia Wall as well, and Abby Osborne heading towards the line. Hayley Dunbar is going to take it out. So a great race and a tremendous finish by Barbie. Camilla Barbie there. She'll pick up second. Very tight, and I think it's going to be Osborne. She'll pick up third place. But a convincing win by Hayley Dunbar. She's been in good form throughout the championships, showing it again here in Heat 1 of the women's 16 and under K1 200.
And our second heat of the 4 heats, they're now coming onto the start line, and apologies, forgot to confirm that the progression is for the first 6 to progress through to a semi-final, and then there will be 3 extra places, so they will take the 3 fastest 7th places. So we have 7 competitors in heat number 2. In lane 2, Hazel Taverner from Sydney Northern Beaches. In lane 3, Hugh Wen Chan from Fairfield. In lane 4, Bronte Kipax from Avoca. In lane 5, Aston Micken from West Lakes. In lane 6, Ashley Pegram from Avoca. In lane 7, Sky Todd from Mackay. And in lane 8, Ellie Neervoort from Swan. Whew, that's some heat. There's some very strong paddlers in there.
Yeah, we've seen them throughout. So Bronte Kipax, certainly Micken as well, and Pegram. Ellie Neervoort as well from Swan.
Yeah,
so
very
it's
impressive.
a strong field.
and over 200 metres, you know, it could well be someone else.
Yes,
That's
correct.
fast.
Just need to get that start right.
Oh, that's why they're all walking the boat.
So away, a good start by Asta Micken from West Lakes, and also for Hugh and Chen, Kipax as well, getting away, but it looks like it might be Micken. Kipax, in fact, I think it's Kipax just slightly in the lead, just ahead of Chen. Micken trying to hang on. Ashley Pegram there also. Ellen Nearvort across in lane 8, fighting hard. 1 to 6 will go through. It's all about bragging rights, and it's going to be Bronte Kipax in lane 4 in that black boat. She's being chased by Micken, but Bronte Kipax doing it easily. 2 clear boat lengths. Good strong finish by Nearvort. Kipax will take it out first. Nearvort may just have got over the top of Asta Micken. Wen Chan racing well. Pegram there as well. And Sky Todd crossing the line. And Hazel Taverner there to bring it home. So the first 6 through to the semi-finals, but a really dominant performance there by Bronte Kipax. Really showing her authority and sending a real message to the rest of the competitors. That was a dominant victory over a short distance. So great paddle. Jared Waite, the coach, will be pretty happy with that performance.
Yeah, what a strong competitor. So our 4th heat, even though it's being placed 3rd, it's heat 4, and it includes Kiara Quigley of Currumbin Creek in lane 2, Hannah Truscott of Wynnum Redlands in lane 3, Yushin Yang of Fairfield in lane 4, Chloe Harris of Manly Warringah in lane 5, Jessie Yu of Fairfield in lane 6, Leela Moody of Gold Coast in 7, and Taylor Smith-Miller of Gold Coast in 8. They're both coached by Peter Winton.
So all the way pretty well. Jessie Yu getting out very clean, as did Harris and Yang there from Fairfield. Yang in that bright blue boat. Jessie Yu in the dark. Layla Moody, a good start. Taylor Smith-Miller as well from the Gold Coast. But it looks like it's going to be Yang out in the lead in the early stages, being pressed well by her Fairfield teammate Yu. Harris from Manly Warringah trying to separate them. Moody and Smith-Miller fighting hard between 8 and 7. Again, first 6 will go through to the semi-final. It's all about their bragging rights, and it looks like Yang is going to take it out about a boat length clear of her teammate Yu. So the two Fairfield competitors will go 1-2. The way it finishes though, big strong finish coming from Smith-Miller. She may just have got it. Very tight between Moody and also Truscott, and Quigley there to bring it home. But a quick heat, but Yang leading from start to finish, and her Fairfield teammate Jessie Yu clearly in second. So nice result, 1-2 for the Fairfield teammates in heat 4 of the women's 16 and under K1 200.
So our final heat of the women's 16 and under K1 200 will start at 4:45. In lane 2, we will have Summer Rose Partridge from Sydney Northern Beaches. In lane 3, Liv Manser from Avoca. In lane 4, Maya Murphy from Fairfield. In lane 5, Emma Corrin from Cobram Baruga. In lane 6, Blythe Osborne from Fairfield, and in lane 7, Isabella Wallace from the same club. And in lane 8, Heidi Smith from Sunshine Coast. Did you see that? Yeah, it's true, isn't it?
away for the final heat. Osborne gets away well, as does Smith from the Sunshine Coast. Pretty even field. Manser out well, as is Murphy. Summer Rose Partridge as well out there in lane 2. Heidi Smith from the Sunshine Coast looking strong. Osborne as well fighting hard. Emma Corrin in the centre. Maya Murphy as well from Fairfield. Liv Manser there from Avoca also paddling well. Not much separating this crew in the final heat of this women's 16 and under K1 200. Heidi Smith on this inside lane here in lane 8 may have the better of it. Blythe, Osborne may pick up second, so it's going to go to Heidi Smith. She'll be first across the line. Osborne will be second. Corrin will cross in third. Maya Murphy there in fourth. And Liv Manser from Avoca in fifth. Isabella Wallace crossing the line, followed by Summer Rose Partridge. But a great race by Heidi Smith. Got away really well at the start. Kept the pace up. And she'll be first through to the semi-final. 6 will go through, but Smith with the bragging rights. A great paddle by the Sunshine Coast athlete. Heidi Smith taking out heat 3, which was the 4th heat of the women's 16 and under K1 200.
Well, pretty tidy final heat there in the women's 16 and under K1 200. The winner, Heidi Smith. Obviously, we don't know her time yet, but so far the fastest has been Hayley Dunbar, who won the first heat in an official time of 48.62 seconds. Second fastest so far has been Bronte Kippax with 48.83, and then the winner Yushin Yang of Heat 4 in 50.65. So those three similar, but Hayley Dunbar and Bronte Kippax look like having a great showdown in the semi-finals and hopefully the finals, and we'll bring you Heidi's time as soon as we get it. We move on now to the men's 18 and under K2s, again racing over 200 metres. In lane 2 of this first heat we will have Orland Rettig from Westlakes Paddle Sports with Lachlan Lines from Onka Paringa. They are coached by Rhys Bacchus. Then from the Sunshine Coast and Fairfield, Bradley Busink and Jack Whitford, coached by Charlene Kelly and Wen Tan. In lane 4, a Avoca composite of Joel Newton from Manly Warringah with Julian Glue of Avoca, coached by Scott Dunbar and Angelica Manser. In lane 5, a composite of Ryan Veerding from Currumbin Creek with Hudson Ash of Sunshine Coast in the stroke seat. In lane 6, a composite of Byron Diekman from Sunshine Coast with Tom Messenger. In lane 7, from Manly Warringah, Jacob Mako and Archer Thornthwaite. And in lane 8, a composite of Blake Monaghan from Bayswater with Lachlan Bean of Ascot. So we've just had the unofficial time of that last heat of the women's 16 and under K1 200 come up, and Heidi Smith won in a provisional time of 51.21. So that was a slightly slower heat. Although interestingly a closer heat, so their 7th placed paddler Summer Rose Partridge going through in a relatively quick time, so she may well make the semi-final.
Yes, a great motivation for those young paddlers to stay with it. So heat 1 underway, the Avoca composite of Newton and Glue getting away very well, just ahead of Veering and Ash for the Sunshine Coast yellow composite team. And those paddlers from the Avoca Composite, Newton and Glue, out really well. Diekman and Messenger as well, paddling extremely well. Makeover and Thornwaite, but it's going to be between those two leaders. Not a whole lot separating them. Diekman and Messenger looking very strong together. They'll take it out. So Diekman and Messenger, they'll be in first place. Fast finish there by Mako and Thornwaite. That'll get them into third. And the Avoca Composite of Newton and Glue will be in third place there. Wonderful will go through to the final. I'm not quite sure who picked up that fourth spot, but it was certainly Diekman and Messenger looking very handy together. Their coaches David Smith and Todd Grace.
Yeah, great to get some composites out there. The final, by the way, folks, is at 2:20 tomorrow afternoon. So we'll get a little bit of a chance to recover from the K2, but there'll be plenty of other racing. So our final race of the day is coming on to the start now, and this is the second heat of the men's 18 and under K2, racing over the final 200 metres of our Sydney International Regatta Centre. In lane 2, from the Sunshine Coast, we have Bill McGuinn and Walton Nichols. They are coached by Charlene Kelly. In lane 3, we have Sydney Northern Beaches, Lachlan Dickinson with Willem Riddington, coached by Christine Duff. In lane 4, a composite of Finley Caruana from WA with Zen Salisbury from Bayswater Paddle Sports. In lane 5, a composite of Thomas Russell from Geelong with Christian Ireland from Mackay, coached by Jake Michael and Sean McGee. In lane 6, a composite of Aidan Hall from West Lakes and Whelan from Holdfast Bay, coached by Luke Hannaford. In lane 7, a composite of Mikar Basak from Fairfield with Tobias Sexton of Bendigo, coached by Wen Tan. And our final crew in lane 8, Anderson Flick from Currumbin Creek with Riley Heilbron from Wynnum Redlands, coached by David Smith.
Yeah, Masters. Yeah. So away, the team from Holdfast Bay getting out early, as did the Mackay composite side of Russell and Ireland. Bayswater Composite as well. Caruana and Salisbury, they've been very strong as individuals, and they look like if they can paddle together as well. So Caruana and Salisbury in that black boat in lane 4, powering to the lead, being chased by the Holdfast Bay Composite. It's a tight race for third, so it's going to be the Bayswater Composite will take it out. Holdfast Bay will be in second place, and it looks like the blue boat of the Mackay Composite, they'll take third. And I think it was Dickinson and Riddington from Sydney Northern Beaches in fourth place. It is the first 4 will go through to the final, but a tremendous race by Caruana and Salisbury, the Bayswater Composite, taking out the second heat of the men's 18 and under K2 200.
Such an exciting race. Well, we're going to finish off tomorrow's racing with 200 metre races as well. So tomorrow finishes with the men's and women's 16 years and under K1s. Tomorrow, that was our last race for today, and tomorrow racing starts at 8 a.m. with the men's and women's K1 100 B and A finals. We'll have Masters racing tomorrow as well, starting at 9 and going on throughout the day, along with other races. And then, as I said, so we start with 1,000 metres and we'll finish with 200. We'll have plenty of medal ceremonies as well, catching up with what we haven't managed to award today. We thank all of our volunteers, and there are many of them, for all of the work that they've put into today, particularly given how hot the conditions are. And we thank all of the supporters for making the atmosphere so good. Thank you for your patience while we had some technical difficulties, but it's been a fantastic day of racing and another one to come. We look forward to seeing you all at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning for our 4th day at the 2025 Paddle Australia Canoe Sprint Championships.